Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankum. This is going to be a fun one. We're going to talk about Robert Downey Jr. movies. And as I said to the panel, I'm not putting an official limit on MCU, but if it starts looking like we're going to get a whole list of MCU, I'll probably do something about it. Like if it starts looking like we're getting MCU in a very long row. But yeah.
Of course.
But I've got a great panel here. I've got PJ, below. BJ, how's it going?
Good, man. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me. I kind of sprung on you the other day while you were in the chat of one of our streams. I was like, Malcolm, I love Robert Downey Jr. movies. Like, let me in on this. So I'm glad to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
It's all good. As I say when I do the polls, if there's any you want, let me know, because otherwise I don't know.
No, I get it, man.
Yeah. And also here we've got Anthony. Anthony, how's it going?
It's going pretty well, just excited to be doing this. I love doing whatever kind of discussions or topics we can do on any of these shows. It's great. And I promise everyone, this is not a green screen for me and PJ. We are actually in our own houses.
It's correct, man. This is what my office actually looks like. For those who don't know, I write for the Schmodown. That is my full-time job. So this is where I sit and do all that work. You can see I have much information to pull from.
I just love the movie.
Yeah, man, me too.
I mean, if it didn't involve me sitting on the floor, I probably would have made sure I had the same background just to mess with people.
I get that, man.
But anyway, I'm going to go to PJ first. PJ, what's the first movie you're going to throw out?
So it was 12, right? We start at 12 and then cut down to 10, if I remember correctly.
Well, essentially, it's the top 12. So
right.
Yeah.
So my number 12 is Sherlock Holmes. The first film he did with Guy Ritchie, because that was kind of like the only other blockbuster he did outside of Iron Man around that time, and it was just I like his performance a lot. I think it's funny that we've seen British actors take over the American superhero with like Christian Bale as Batman, so it only made sense that we had an American actor decide to try to be Sherlock Holmes.
But yeah. And actually, I completely forgot last time Peter was on here was when we were doing a different format. The usual format for Rankum is we go around and nominate, and then the rest of the panel says he should know where it belongs on the list, and at the end we do a combined list.
Yeah. It's been a little bit. Sorry, guys.
No, it's all good. I realized, like, hang on, the last time you were there was the X-Men one. Play Washington's like,
yeah,
haven't been on the usual one. But Anthony, what do you say about Sherlock Holmes?
I definitely had that on my top 12. I know, like, as a movie, I know it wasn't like one of the top rated. Everyone was like, not everyone was thrilled about it, but I thought it was great. I thought Robert Downey was fantastic as Sherlock Holmes, and the Guy Ritchie direction really kind of elevated it a little bit. And he did a great job with everything he did. I absolutely had that one in my top 12 for sure.
Yeah, man. So if that Sherlock Holmes does make the combined top 12, this is one that I also really do like as well. I actually like it a bit more, but that's that. But Anthony, what's the first movie you're going to throw out there?
All right, to stay away again from the MCU, I'm going to go with one of my absolute favorite Robert Downey Jr. movies, where he plays a dude, playing a dude disguised as another dude. Tropic Thunder is absolutely one of my favorite movies, period, not to mention Robert Downey Jr. movies. It's quotable, it's great, it's funny. I can rewatch it as many times as possible, and he plays like 3 different roles in the movie alone, so you have to give a little bit of props for that, for just being able to stick. Plus, if you actually watch the DVD commentary, he stays in his role as whatever character he is throughout the entire DVD commentary, as he says in the movie.
Yeah, this is one that I did actually rewatch for this. Because last time this is one that I'm not a big fan of myself. I think, like, Tom Cruise is probably the better part of this movie. He's the more memorable thing, but so I'm going to have to say no. And put it on PJ. PJ, does Tropic Thunder make the list?
I mean, Tropic Thunder absolutely makes the list, at least for this guy right here. It is a fantastic film, one that continues to hold up to this day. It is a movie I love very, very much. I think his performance is one of the all-time great comedic performances, and it reminded me of Downey Jr. actually doing like SNL back in the 80s. He was on for a season. So, you know, we don't always think of Downey Jr. as like the strictly comedic actor, but this movie, he 100% is.
And with that, Tropic Thunder does make the list, and it goes on to me to do my first nomination. And I'm going to do the first MCU one. Avengers Endgame belongs on this list. Robert Downey Jr.'s performance in this elevates this movie. Well, it is a really good ensemble thing. I think there's a reason Robert Downey Jr. A lot of people were arguing that he should have been nominated for Best Actor last year. Because like he was kind of a driving force in this, but yeah. So PJ, does Endgame make the list?
Yes, absolutely. Endgame it was already on my list already. I tried to keep it low on the MCU for the same reason we kind of talked about. Like, it'd be very easy to be like, well, Downey Jr. was in 9 MCU movies. We'll just shove them all on. But like, Endgame is, for me, far and away his best performance in the series, because Tony has come so far as a character, and like Downey Jr. has come so far with the character. So there's a lot to be said about it. I think you get to unpack a lot. Even going back to like Iron Man 2, with this relationship with his father, the confrontation with his father later in the film is like such a pivotal turning point for the movie, and I think offers some of Downey Jr.'s best work in the MCU to date. So absolutely, Endgame makes the list.
Anthony, what would you have said about Endgame?
100%. That is absolutely, of all the Robert Downey MCU ones, it's number 1 or number 2, kind of depending on the mood I'm in. But like PJ was saying, it's just the way he did it. You still get the kind of dickish Robert Downey from the original Iron Man, the Tony Stark. You get the emotional aspect. You get the daughter aspect. You get everything that comes around, and it just goes full circle at this point from the first movie. And I think it has to be in the top 12 for sure.
Yeah. And just to go off Brian's point, I would have loved to see Endgame nominated for Best Picture last year, but I don't have a problem with the movies that were nominated. I think they were all deserving, and I think Endgame was just outside of that. And I think it was close, but yeah. Which means we go back to PJ.
Well, I'm going to throw this one out here because this is a movie I hold very near and dear to my heart. This is in my top 10 films of all time, actually. Like, I adore this film, and it was kind of the coming out party again for Downey Jr. in a big way, which was Zodiac. David Fincher's Zodiac. There is not enough great things to say about this movie, but in particular, Robert Downey Jr.'s like kind of very big comeback for me before Iron Man was this film. And we were reminded this guy can be one of the great dramatic actors. He is so goddamn good in this movie, you guys. If you have not seen Zodiac, you really owe it to yourself. I think it is one of the best thrillers of all time, especially considering it's based on a true story that never got solved. Like, the fact that you are able to pull that off with such a with masterful performances across the board, Downey Jr. just happens to elevate it. So for me, Zodiac absolutely is in this list.
Anthony, what do you say about Zodiac?
I absolutely can't disagree with anything he said. It really was more of like him coming back into a good drama role, and it really just, the whole movie itself is fantastic, and Robert Downey just adds that extra element of just like a really good, well done movie overall. And it is a longer one, I do believe, but it's a great movie, and it has to be in his top 12 for sure.
Yeah, with that, Zodiac does make the list. And Zodiac would have been an absolute yes for me. This is a movie I really love. And yeah, I just think it's well done. Not much I could say about it. But just to recap, what's on the list so far for people that have just joined, we've got Sherlock Holmes, Tropic Thunder, Endgame, and Zodiac on the list. And Anthony, what is the next movie you're going to nominate?
The next one I have is also, I feel like, a little bit of a Robert Downey Jr. coming back, more of a darker comedy crime thriller. But Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, I feel like, was right after he kind of came back from the whole drug issues and all the other things that he had going on. He came back and made this movie, which is, I never thought about it. I heard about it once. I found it. I watched it, and I was laughing. I thought it was great. I was entertained. Just everything about it. He has that manic energy throughout it, which is perfect for what he just went through. And I feel like this was just before he kind of blew up again and came back into the spotlight. I think Kiss Kiss Bang Bang got to be on the top 12 for him.
Yeah, this is an absolute yes. And I believe I think this actually was his first movie after his old drug issues. So this showed that he still has what it takes and he's not out yet. And I mean, his role in this is amazing. PJ, what would you have said about Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you guys 100% on this one. Like, there's no denying that this movie belongs here. Again, to the credit of Shane Black for believing in Downey Jr. enough to bring him into this. And, of course, for Downey Jr. to repay the favor later with having him direct Iron Man 3. Like, there's a lot of synergy in just this one choice alone. And, I mean, this movie also spawned The Nice Guys, which ended up being, like, a very perfect spiritual successor to this movie. So there's just something to be said about this movie encapsulating so much of my last 20 years on this earth, I feel like, at this point. But specifically, Downey Jr.'s performance is so great. His chemistry with Val Kilmer, everything about this is the thing that reminded us, hey, Downey Jr. is great, and it's just a fun movie.
And it comes back to me, and the next movie I'm going to bring up is a collaboration with Jon Favreau that's not MCU related. It's Chef. He has a relatively smaller role. Well, I don't, but Chef is one of those great movies which is just fun to watch all the way through. And I think Robert Downey Jr. does have a good role in this, and I think it's one of those movies which I can rewatch a lot and just get more out of it every time I watch it. PJ, what do you say about Chef?
So I love the choice because I really love this movie. Chef is a movie that I hold very near and dear to my heart. I didn't initially have it on my list, though, because thinking about it, as much as I love the movie, Downey Jr.'s part's not super big in it. And so I didn't want to, I couldn't, personally, I wasn't able to put it in the top 12 just because it's like, it is the spearheading moment in a way for the film, but it's not. I wish he was in it more because I love this movie and I want it to be on the list, but I can't put it in like top Downey Jr. performances for that reason.
That's fair. Anthony, what do you say about Chef?
I was kind of thinking the same thing as PJ just said. Like, he's not in it enough for me to put it on my top 12. I do love the movie. I think it's a great movie. I mean, I kind of looked at this list a little more of, instead of just movies with Robert Downey that are great, is when Robert Downey Jr. is very good in the movie. As kind of that was what I did with a lot of my top 12, and that's the only reason I didn't put Chef in my top 12. I do love the movie. I think
I do too.
I think
that's totally fair. But PJ, we go back to you.
All right. So this is actually one kind of around the time we were just talking about, and it's a movie that really went very overlooked when he made it. But it was, again, a kind of a call to arms to Downey Jr. can do this. And it's a little film called A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints with him, Shia LaBeouf, and Channing Tatum. It's a really interesting coming-of-age tale. Shia LaBeouf actually plays the younger version of him throughout the movie. And it's about his time growing up in New York. And he kind of narrates throughout the film, and he's in it back and forth, and like him interacting with his past and looking back on it. It's such an interesting film. I felt like it made a really great comeback call for him. Again, similar to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang as we were talking about, but it's a really soulful performance, one that gets overlooked a lot because it's such a small film, but it's a movie I love to pieces.
Anthony, what do you say about Guide to Recognizing Your Saints?
I mean, I've seen this movie once and it was a while ago, so it doesn't really stick in my mind as much as some of these other performances. But I remember he had a very good performance in it, and it was, like you said, around this time where he's kind of coming back, and it was a great showing of bringing him back into the fold, into this massive universe that he's in now. I don't know if I didn't have it in my top 12, mainly just due to the simple fact of it wasn't recognizable. I didn't really remember it that well. But how do I point? I'll go with him. He can decide if he wants to pick.
Yeah, sadly, it doesn't make the list. Just for the simple reason I haven't seen it.
Fair enough.
I tried to find it to watch for this. I just couldn't find it on any streaming services. But yeah,
It's almost impossible to find. I get it. It's a very small film.
Anthony, we go back to you for your next nomination.
Okay, I will. I've done a couple non-MCU, so I'll jump in there so we don't just have the one because one thing. I got to go with the original Iron Man before I go with the slightly, possibly more sketchy pick later. But I'll go with the original Iron Man. It was the one that brought him into the MCU. He portrayed Tony Stark perfectly. You do have a little bit of the arc of going from the arms dealer, going to being this hero, going to caring about more than just money and power and all of that stuff. I mean, the original Iron Man, it's hard to take him off this list because it is what brought him into the absolute stardom that he now has.
Oh, yeah. This is an absolute yes. To kick off with Iron Man for a superhero, which not a lot of people knew about, sort of when it was first announced, that he's got more popularity as the MCU went on, and Iron Man is just one of those ones that it's a great movie, and it's an absolute yes. PJ, what would you have said?
Oh, I mean, it's 100% yes. This is the movie that really defines the MCU. Without this movie, without this performance, the MCU just doesn't exist. So for that alone, this movie has to be on here for so many reasons. But Downey Jr. encapsulates what the MCU will be and what it has become in one film, thanks to him and Jon Favreau and their work together on it. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
But yeah, it's back to me. We've got a lot of movies from post 2000. I'm going to bring up one from one of his earlier ones. This is one I watched specifically for this, and it's Natural Born Killers. This movie is an interesting movie. It's one that I didn't know what to think about, but it's just one of those ones that's so weird that I loved it all the same. And I think Robert Downey Jr. was also great in this, and I think it's one of his early roles I think deserves to be here. PJ, what do you say about Natural Born Killers?
So I really like his performance in it, but I am actually not a fan of this film. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Oliver Stone. A lot of his movies leave me very cold, and I'm a big fan of Tarantino, and I know how Tarantino feels about the film as well. That plays a big part in how I kind of feel about the movie overall. I like his performance a lot, but it is a no from me.
Anthony, what do you say about Natural Born Killers?
Coming to me, this is good. This is a tough one. This is right on the edge I had for the top 12. Namely, I love this movie. I think it was great. I think it was kind of crazy, but it was well done. It was well acted. As one of his top 12, I'm probably going to have to go with you on this one, just because some of those that I have right on the edge, I don't like as much. I don't think either he's not in it enough where I feel like he really adds to the movie enough, or they're just not really that good of a movie, and he's just in it. And so I'm going to give you the yes on this one. I really like that movie.
Natural Born Killers makes the list. PJ, what's your next nomination?
I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm kind of sticking off the MCU stuff just because I like giving some of these other ones a little bit of a shout. And this is a movie that came out right around the time that Iron Man and Zodiac and Tropic Thunder came out. It was a smaller comedy drama that not a lot of people saw, but it was one that I fell in love with instantly when I saw it in theaters, and that is Charlie Bartlett, starring so many people, including the great late Anton Yelchin as the titular character. But this was a movie that is just so encapsulating of the high school spirit and what it feels like to be a teenager and dealing with your emotions in it. And Downey Jr.'s performance as the overprotective and overbearing father, who also is the principal of the school that Charlie is disrupting, is so fantastic. And his relationship with him and Anton Yelchin continues to be one of these, for me, gold standard in all of high school filmmaking, and I just really love this film. It means the world to me, so I hope that it makes the list.
Anthony, what do you say about Charlie Bartlett?
I do like this movie. I do think it's a good movie. It's a good the coming of age kind of drama comedy. Robert Downey does do a great job in the movie. It's kind of another one of those right on the edge. And I like trying to stay away from all the MCU because we could just rail down MCU movies. Cool, we're done. I understand they might be part of the top 12, but for everyone watching, let's try to get away from it a little bit. We'll pick some of the big ones, but I do like Charlie Bartlett. I think it needs to be in the top 12. I think it was one of those really good movies, and I do like it.
Charlie Bartlett does make the list, which is lucky because I haven't seen it. So yeah.
I do recommend it.
I recommend it, my friend. If you get a chance, definitely check it out. Are we in the same house? No, we are not in the same house. It might look like we might be.
Yeah, that's the life.
But Anthony, we go back to you for your next nomination.
Okay, I will again, since I just did MCU, I'll stay out of the MCU, and I'll go with the one that another one he was nominated Best Actor for. I feel like you got to put Chaplin on the list. I mean, he personified him perfectly in the movie. It was a great movie. He was nominated for it. Just as whether you like the movie or not, you have to understand Robert Downey was fantastic in the role. So it should be, I believe, in his top 12 of movies that he's in.
Yeah, this is one I've seen various clips of it. This is another one I did want to watch for this, just didn't get around to it. Partly because, one, I didn't realise how much movies Robert Downey Jr. has actually been in. And two, it's just one that I couldn't find. But PJ, what do you say about Chaplin?
Oh, I mean, this was the second film I put on the list because I knew it had to be here. I actually really like this movie. The late great Richard Attenborough directed this movie, and this was Downey Jr. in his prime, before everything had happened. To see him doing this Oscar caliber performance as Charlie Chaplin, the way he exudes exactly the way that we know Charlie Chaplin to be, but also have all the demons of what it must be like to be behind the scenes and being this larger than life personality at that time. It's just such an incredibly wonderful and moving performance. I can't argue for this not to be on the list. There's no way. This in a lot of ways, it may be his best performance.
And with that, Chaplin does make the list. And we're zooming through it. We've got 3 spots remaining, and we're only about 21 minutes in.
There's a lot more episodes of Glee than there are Robert Downey movies, so I knew this was going to fly.
This is very interesting that we've already got down to 3 spots because I look at it and it's oh dang, how did we get here already?
Yeah. We're just trying so hard to just straight Marvel Cinematic Universe it, and we're trying to go a little outside the box. So
yeah, it's true.
But it's back to me, and this is going to be a risky pick because I know this movie has really mixed reviews, but I really enjoyed this movie. It was one of the few movies that came out this year. I'm bringing up Dolittle. As I said, this is a risky move, and it's one that I'm not going to lie. I love this movie. I think it's a fun movie. And Rob Downey Jr. is really great as Doc Dolittle. It's one that I didn't know I wanted, but I'm glad that we got. But yeah, and I mean, well, yeah, there's bits. This movie could have been fine-tuned a little bit better, but what we got, I think, is great. But PJ, what do you think about Dolittle?
I gotta say, man, I actually did not get a chance to see this yet. Leading into this, I didn't even get a chance to watch it. So it's one that I wanted to see. I never got the chance. I like Downey Jr. I know that the movie got the real mixed reviews. It didn't do well at the box office, but when he was announced, I was actually kind of into it just because I like the idea of him being the Doolittle from the books in a way, a very different version than what people might have expected, even looking back at the original movie. So I can't give it my blessing just because I haven't seen it, but I can understand where you're coming from, Malcolm.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Anthony, what do you say about Dolittle?
I got to go with pretty much the exact same thing you just said. I could not bring myself to see it. I read all the reviews. I got a little bit of a spoiler of the ending and thought that was just ridiculous and a little over the top from what the ending was. But like he said, when I heard Dolittle with Robert Downey and I watched some of the trailers, I'm like, oh, this looks cool. Kind of looks like sort of a Sherlock Holmes with Dr. Dolittle in the background. I could be down for that. So I can't say anything because I haven't seen it either, which is kind of one of the. It kind of sucks that the two of us haven't seen it and you have. So I feel bad because I don't know, but just looking at what other people thought about it, they were not fans. Some of those reviews are brutal.
Yeah.
Not Cats level, but brutal.
Yeah, I mean the comparison, people saying that Cats is better than Doolittle is very unfair, undeserved because nothing can really be better than Cats.
That's fair. That is very fair.
I feel like that's going to be a drunk watch for me and the wife, and maybe we'll just laugh at that to see what happens.
But with that, we go back to PJ. What's your next movie you're going to bring up?
You know, it's interesting because the way you teed this up, outside of it being from this year, I actually thought you might be going with what my next pick was going to be, because my next pick is a film that understandably had very divisive-ish type reviews. It was a film that no one was really expecting him to do in the height of the MCU, like coming off of Iron Man 2 and coming off of Sherlock Holmes. But it seemed like a passion project for him, and it is a movie that I actually like quite a bit because I think his performance is incredible, and that is The Judge with him and Robert Duvall. This is a movie that I enjoy very, very much, and again, the performances across the board are just so awesome. So, yeah, this is for the jury to decide, but The Judge is on the table.
Anthony, what do you say about The Judge?
Another one of those that's right in that like 10 to 15 range. I like you said, I watched the movie. I wasn't blown away by it. I didn't think it was one of the best movies I've seen, but Robert Downey Jr. did a great job in the movie. I really liked him in it, which kind of made me want to enjoy it more than I really did. I don't, as I sit here and I look and I'm trying to figure out what I have left, that one is one of the more, he's in it a lot more often, staying away from MCU than some of these other ones that I have. I would say I would give him top 12 for this one more than I would some of these other ones that I have where he's in it only like a bit part. So he's the star. He did a very good job in the movie. I would say it would be in the top 12 for me.
Yeah, this is one that I watched for specifically for this, and it's a fine movie. I would have suggested it for Downey's performance alone. It's a really great performance in this, and I mean it's one of those ones like a movie doesn't have to be great for a performance to shine out of it, which is I think a lot of people do forget when it comes to these kind of shows.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of why I wanted to pitch the way I did. Like, I understand the way that people feel about the movie, but this performance is like ridiculous how good he is in it.
We've got 2 spots left just to recap the list. Got Sherlock Holmes, Tropic Thunder, Endgame, Zodiac, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Iron Man, Natural Born Killers, Charlie Bartlett, Chaplin, and The Judge. And we go to Anthony for your next pick.
All right. Oh man, I'm trying to think. Do I go with the one where he's smaller part, but is out of the MCU, or do I just go MCU and just put it in there? I'm going to go with actually an MCU pick that I find might be a little more controversial than some of the other ones that are more obvious ones. I actually want to go with Iron Man 3. The movie itself is not the best. It's one of the lower tier for a lot of people with the MCU. I understand that. Robert Downey in this movie, though, pairing back up with Shane Black for Iron Man 3, shows a whole spectrum of emotions because he still has like the PTSD from Avengers. He still has like the kid who is like the pre-Peter Parker child that he's trying to help. He has all of this going on. I feel like it's the first movie that you really see him get that whole range of emotions that you now see him come back to in Endgame with the drama that he's bringing back out, still with the snarky attitude and all of that. But it seems like it has more impact in this movie because he's still trying to save Pepper, who he loves, just doesn't really say it. All of this stuff is all coming into this one movie. It's a little different from the obvious MCU ones that people might think is a better movie. But I think Robert Downey in this movie alone does a really good job.
Yeah, the Iron Man 3 is one that I do like. This is I mean, yeah, this is tough because there's another MCU pick I think is better.
I wonder if you and I have the same thing, because I have one other MCU pick that I also have, like, I think he's just a little bit better in. But I also don't
have another one. I just wanted to go with the little more controversial because I just
that's fair. I'm going to give it a slight no and leave it up to PJ.
So it's tough because I'm in the camp of I'm going to say it because, I mean, people can yell at me in the chat about it later. Iron Man 3 is actually my favorite in the franchise of the Iron Man films. I think that it does feature his best performance as the character in the Solo series. I think that it does a lot with Tony as a character. I actually think that the Iron Man series progressively got better as it went along, just like I kind of feel like the Avengers film progressively got better as they went along. But there's one film outside of this that I feel like should be on the list, and I'm not, I don't, it's tough because I really love this movie. I hate having this kind of power. This is not the kind of power that I want to have at the moment.
Going third is the worst.
Yeah, man. This, especially when you're the tiebreaker guy. All right. Let's see. I don't have a coin, do I? Shit.
Well, what do we got?
I'm going to flip my phone. If my phone lands face up, it's going on. If it lands face down, it's not going to make the list. We're leaving it up to the fate of my phone.
All right.
Please don't fucking break. Fates up. Iron Man 3 made the list.
Now I just go get his phone.
Yep, I'm good. We're here. Don't worry.
All right. One spot left, and it's down to me. Now, the question is, do I want to try for the MCU pick that I think PJ's thinking of, or do I want to go for something different?
So interesting. The tables have really turned. Like, we blew through this so quick, and now it's like...
Now we're at the... Like, oh, wait. Did we make a mistake somewhere along the line? There's a little one out there.
No, but I mean, inside that, it shows how much of a good actor he is, with the fact that, like, even with the fact we've only got 3 MCU movies on here, we've got a lot of other good movies on here as well.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
I'm gonna take a risk on the MCU movie I think PJ's thinking of not making in, and I actually really love Due Date. I think Robert Downey Jr. is great in this movie. This is another movie which, similar to The Judge, is not overly good, but I think it's Robert Downey Jr. does shine in this as this guy who's forced to get off a plane by an annoying passenger and end up on a road trip with the same passenger, and just the crazy shenanigans that do, especially with Zach Galifianakis and Robert Downey Jr.'s relationship. And this, I think, is really good. So, PJ, what do you say about Due Date?
Be honest with you, man. I like Downey Jr. a lot, but I do not like Todd Phillips. This is another one for me that, like, I like seeing. I think he's fun with Zach Galifianakis, but, like, I think the movie's really mean-spirited in the wrong ways. I think it's like a really not very subtle remake of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but, like, way less fun and way less heartfelt for me. I can't do it. I can't do it as Top Downey Jr. I can't do it, man.
Anthony, what do you say about Due Date?
I actually do find this movie generally entertaining. It's not a great movie. It's fine. It's fun to watch. It kind of, like he said, Planes, Trains, Automobiles, basically Todd Phillips. Another Hangover is kind of what it felt like to me. I like the movie. I don't have it in my top 12 because I still have not even an MCU movie. I still have like another 1 or 2 kind of random movies in there that I liked a little more than Due Date. And with like 1 spot left, I think I gotta say not to the Due Date one. I do like the movie though. I looked at that and thought about it for a second.
Yep. But PJ, it's back to you.
All right, so this is that part where it's like, do I go with the MCU movie? Do I go with one of the smaller movies and, like, take a shot at it? But I'm just going to go with this one because I feel like I'm just going to throw it out there at this point because Either it's going to make it or it's not. He doesn't have a huge part in it, but Weird Science is like one of the all-time great 80s classics, and Downey Jr. is phenomenal in this movie. It's a very young Downey Jr., and it's fun to see him in this. He's kind of a prick, and you got to love it. So this is one of those ones, like, I don't even know if it's necessarily one of his best performances, but I think we got to at least give Weird Science a little bit of love to get it at least out there on the table.
Anthony, what do you say about Weird Science?
I think we're going to get just grilled in all the comment sections for people being like, oh, where's all these MCU movies? I appreciate the fact we're going away from it. We picked some big ones, some of the bigger Robert Downey Jr. MCU movies, I think. And Weird Science was 100% on my list. I really like the movie. Robert Downey Jr., like you said, he is that perfect little prick in the movie that you just want to hate, but kind of also really like. You want to be his friend a little bit, but you also don't want to be his enemy. So I think he was great in the movie. I had it on my list. I thought it was fun. It's just the whole movie in general is a good movie. And it was early Robert Downey. I really enjoyed this movie. I really enjoyed Robert Downey in it. It was on my list. I would say it's in the top 12 to knock it out. Glad you didn't go MCU with it, because that's almost.
It would have been so obvious, man. Like, I thought about it, but again, young Downey Jr. You don't go wrong with young Downey Jr.
Yeah, exactly.
And with that, Weird Science does make the list. Closing out the list, but just to recap what is on the list, we've got Sherlock Holmes, Tropic Thunder, Endgame, Zodiac, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Iron Man, Natural Born Killers, Charlie Bartlett, Chaplin, The Judge, and Iron Man 3 and Weird Science. PJ, what honorable mentions did you have?
So if we're talking a little bit about honorable mentions, of course, I tried to get a guide to recognizing our saints on here, but my MCU pick, the one that I didn't throw out there, was Captain America: Civil War. Civil War being the film that I felt like at that point he didn't have to come back. He had chosen to come back at that point. He signed a new contract to decide to play the character through whatever this new arc was that they were doing. And that is one of the most emotionally charged performances he gives as Tony Stark. I think that he and Evans, especially coming off of Age of Ultron, like the way that the characters interact is just so awesome. You really feel the tension throughout the film. I think he really, especially towards the end, like when he's holding Rhodey after the fight at the airport, like just there's something about that look in his eyes, the feel of everything. Like you can feel the weight of everything the MCU has become to that point on Tony Stark. And I think Downey Jr. sells it 100%. So that was one of my major honorable mentions.
Yeah. And I do realise that I actually didn't talk about Red Science myself. I have seen Red Science. I love it, and I think it is a great movie, and I would have suggest to it anyway. Anthony, what honorable mentions did you have?
A couple of mine. The MCU one that I had that I was going to put in there, other than Civil War. Kind of a cheap shot, but Infinity War. Again. It really, I feel like, especially that end when they're on Titan and they're having that battle, just the fear on his face and the sorrow on his face when they lose, and Peter Parker just goes to dust, and to watch just him just in complete downfall at that moment. When at the beginning he was super happy, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to get married, let's have kids, let's do all this stuff." It was like the most happiest you've ever seen him in any of these movies, basically, to the absolute most devastating you've seen him, which is why I had Infinity War. But I went Iron Man 3 because I just feel like his arc was more unexpected than that one. And another kind of weird one I watched kind of recently, but I don't know if anyone's heard. It's called True Believer. With James Woods and Robert Downey Jr. They basically, he's a lawyer. Someone gets accused of a crime. He goes to jail, winds up killing somebody in jail due to because he was like a Nazi, a white supremacist. And then he has to come. The mom comes by and tries to get him to help him. It's like a smaller film. It's not really well known, but it got great reviews. So I looked at it, watched it. I thought it was fantastic, but didn't really want to put it in here because I really doubt a lot of people have seen it.
Sure. No, totally. One that I had that was similar to that is Good Night and Good Luck. I think that's a film that goes very, very overlooked, especially in his filmography, because it's not a bigger role, but it's a really great film. But again, to your point, I was like, I don't know if enough people have seen Good Night and Good Luck to really make the case for it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, another one that I is probably in that vein is is Hail Caesar, not the recent one, but in the 90s he was in another movie called Hail Caesar, which is not the same movie at all. But, it's just a really crazy movie that I watched that I found on Amazon Prime. So,
give it a shot.
But now we get to the fun part where you actually make the movie. So write down on our whiteboard what we think should be at 12.
1 second, guys. I'm just closing my door.
It's all good.
You good? You gotta sit down now? Thank you. Dogs have been running in and out of the room. Sorry.
I get it.
All right.
Writing down what we think our number 12 is? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I believe that is what Malcolm said, is we were going to write down what our number 12s are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I feel like we are both.
But I've got mine already down.
Yep.
But Anthony, what do you have for 12?
In my opinion, I just, like I said, he was great in it, but I wasn't a huge fan of the movie itself, The Judge. That's just what it was, kind of on the edge of my list, like some of the other ones, and that just wasn't one I was going to put too much above the top 10.
BJ, what do you have for 12?
I actually have Weird Science. The only reason I went with Weird Science, it's a smaller role for him. To have it even in the top conversation was a big deal. So I thought that having that at number 12 felt like the right place where we can put a couple more of his bigger roles above it.
Which brings us into an interesting position because I've got Tropic Thunder.
Oh, wow.
Today. I mean, like, I've been up since 5, and that's the most upsetting thing I've heard today.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, but we go to the chat. So chat, Tropic Thunder, The Judge, or Weird Science at 12.
Belford's saying The Judge at 12, and so is Star Drew. Shit.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, with The Judge, Weird Science, I was kind of between that. Like you said, he didn't have as much of a role in it, which is kind of why I'd be lower on my list. But I mean, some of these other ones, even if he didn't have as big of a role, I just liked the movie better.
No, totally. Yeah.
But I would like to point out, someone actually agreed with me, but that doesn't mean anything. But yeah.
How do you not like Tropic Thunder? I watched the movie like 20 times in the past month.
I love that movie, man. I do.
I mean, I don't hate it.
It's just not your thing. I get it.
We're all there. We've all been there.
As I said, I rewatched it for this. Like, this is fine. I never really got. But anyway, now we go to 11. But I'm going to die on this hill because PJ, what do you want for 11?
I'm writing it down real quick for you guys. I'm sure that it's going to come as no shock, really. Just because I'm actually not super high on the film, and that is Natural Born Killers is at my 11.
Anthony?
Natural Born Killers. I put that on there. Like you said, I like the movie. His role is not as prominent in it, and it is. I like the other movies better that are here. I think he's better.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that one. I feel like you're going to be holding Tropic Thunder for a minute there because I don't think either of us are putting on that.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I mean, I may consider changing it eventually, but for now, I'm happy dying on this hill. I mean, it makes it easy for me when I have to write the batters. Not actually have to write more. So.
I get it, man. I do. I get it.
But Anthony, what do you have for 10?
All right, for 10, as much as I like this movie better than one of the other ones, he's not as prominent in it. I will go Weird Science for 10. Just like I said, he's not one of the main guys.
PJ, what do you have for 10?
It looks like Anthony are lockstep because that is also Weird Science.
Woo.
It really comes down to he's just not as prominent in the other movies. So
right. Man, I feel like this is much easier than like the 150 episode TV one.
I'm actually surprised it's going as smooth as it is at this point because, this is where I figured we start throwing fists.
When we get into like the top 8, I think there's going to be a little more debate coming in here with some of these.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones. If Garth had made it, it would have been more interesting because the person nominating wouldn't have got down, so it would have come down to Garth being that sort of sweet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Feel better.
Yeah, Garth, feel better, man.
Yeah, but I'm not going to bother getting my board up because I haven't changed. It's PJ. What do you have for 9?
So, interestingly enough, it's a movie I enjoy very much, and I think that's kind of going to be the towing line at this point. Every one of these movies I like, so don't take it as a personal slight at anyone, but Sherlock Holmes is not my favorite of everything we've got in here, so I'm going Sherlock Holmes at my number 9.
Anthony?
Looks like we changed minds on this one. I went Charlie Bartlett on this.
Interesting.
I actually really do like Sherlock Holmes. I thought it was a movie, and I really liked him in it.
I can see the case for that, though, too.
So, chat, we've got Sherlock Holmes, Charlie Bartlett, or Tropic Thunder. What should be 9?
Don't you do Tropic Thunder, chat. Don't you do it.
Yeah, don't you do it. I would be very upset, man. Oh, Belford's on my side with the Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, there we go.
I'm thinking Stardrew's going for Charlie Bartlett.
Kroll? Something.
Kroll, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
But we've got two for Sherlock Holmes, so Sherlock Holmes is going to be 9.
Yeah, Movie Man went with that as well.
Yeah.
Movie Man's definitely on. Yeah, he was good.
Now we go on to 8.
Why erased this?
I've made moments like that too. I've erased the board. Like, why the hell did I erase it?
Yeah, just to make it look different.
Yeah. But PJ, what do you have for 8?
We're going Charlie Bartlett. That is the right choice, I feel like.
Anthony?
Yeah, I have it as well. Written differently this time.
I love it. Hey, man, the fact that Charlie Bartlett even got in the top 10 is a minor miracle for me, so I'm going to take that as a win.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie,
Yeah.
man.
I mean, as I said, I haven't said a few times, Matt Kearns has got Daredevil up to number 3 on top 12 Marvel superheroes.
Only Matty Kearns could do that.
Well, it's only because everyone else forgotten that. Because that was back in the days when I had these the save rule, and everyone else had forgotten that that Daredevil was saved to get on the list, and if it wasn't until that was like, oh shit, we screwed up somewhere.
Amazing.
But yeah, PJ, what do you have with 7?
So my number 7, the reason I'm going with this is because I don't think it's his best performance in the franchise, and that is Iron Man. It is the film that makes the MCU, but I think that it is arguably his least performance. So that's what I went with.
Anthony, what do you have for 7?
Honestly, I didn't have anything written down because this one's so fast. I'm sitting here staring at the ones we're looking at. I'm like, these are all. This is becoming a whole nother world here.
I know, man.
Man, you know what? I might have to. God, it sucks. I don't like saying this, but I might have to agree with Iron Man. I was thinking between that and Chaplin, but Chaplin, he is just better in it. In the movie, I like Iron Man as a better movie. It does more for everything, like to create a universe, but he's just not as good in Iron Man as he is in Chaplin, I think. So I'll agree. I'll go. Oh, man, that sucks to say. I'll go Iron Man.
With that, Iron Man is going to be 7. I don't have a problem with it being that high. And just to recap what we've got left, we've got Tropic Thunder, Endgame, Zodiac, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and Chaplin.
Frick.
Yeah, I'm really having problems now. This got real. We can get through a top 12 in seconds, but getting the top 6 is not going to happen.
But yeah, but just to, we've got 6, and just to remind people, I haven't changed my board. Tropic Thunder, still got.
Come on.
I can't have Tropic Thunder that low. But I'm looking at some of these other ones, and I'm like, I don't know if I can have any of these any lower, and that's the thing that's breaking my heart, like, even looking at the list. Because there's 2 of these movies, there's like 3 of these movies that I feel like need to be the top 3. Like 3 in my heart of hearts, I feel like need to be in the top 3.
Yeah. Just to quickly take a break while you guys think. I'll answer this question. With these lists that I usually do, I leave it up to everyone else to sort of decide on how they're defining the moves that they put on there. Just because I always see like top 12 internet to hear movies to be the same kind of vein as talking about the performances in it as well. So I usually leave it up to what they want to, which way they want to swing with it. But yeah. PJ, what do you have for 6?
All right, I'm just gonna do it because I feel like this has to just get knocked out of the way. It's gonna kind of be the same thing with Iron Man. I'm going Iron Man 3. I just think that right now there's a bunch of performances that I like a lot more, especially for him. And Iron Man 3 is great, and I think that it is better than Iron Man. And I think that that's like the sweet spot for it, especially considering it's a film that most people don't seem to enjoy. Like, it's such a divisive film. To get it at number 6 feels like the sweet spot. And I also get to shine some love on some other movies that we're going to have coming up.
Anthony, what do you have for 6?
Oh, this one hurts. This one I might be going a little bit too much with my heart on what the top 5 I want to be. I feel like I said, he does a great job. Just Chaplin, I'm going to throw as number 6. There are other ones on there. I feel like he does maybe not as great of an acting job, but very close. And the movies themselves overall, I enjoy more.
Chet.
It hurts. It hurts to do. Every one of these is going to hurt to knock out at this point.
So, Chet, we've got Chaplin, Iron Man 3, and Tropic Thunder. What one do you think should be 6?
Belford already said Chaplin because he was telling me to write it while we were talking about it. So, and now Starger too. It looks like it's got to be Chaplin.
Yep.
It doesn't feel good. I promise you, it doesn't feel good. I didn't like it.
Man, that hurt real fucking bad. No, I know, man. I know. It fucking hurt bad. It hurt fucking bad to have this conversation.
Yeah. Man.
But top 5.
All right. I want what Malcolm's gonna have.
I wonder.
Oh man.
All right. I mean, I've got mine.
PJ, what do you have for 5?
I'm gonna stick with it at this point. Just at this point, it's Iron Man 3. I think that there's a couple performances in here that are just better, and that's not they're all gonna be great, and this is gonna hurt no matter what. But I think that I would love to see our top 5 not be just like, or even top 3, even be just like full MCU films.
Yeah. Anthony, what do you have for 5?
I came back on your page. I had Iron Man 3.
There it is.
I do think it was fantastic in the movie, but that, like you said, there's just a few more I like better. I think he does better in, which includes Tropic Thunder.
Exactly. We have carried Tropic Thunder so far.
So far.
But yeah, I'm now up to 4, which is Tropic Thunder, Endgame, Zodiac, or Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Okay. Holy shit.
But just to remind people,
this one might actually. This one's going to kill me.
Oh man. Okay. This is fucking brutal. But this is also me carrying the torch as far as I can, and I'm not willing to just drop it just yet. So I actually went with Endgame because I want to see Tropic Thunder go the distance. Again, I'm trying to make sure our top films are not fully just MCU. It's a great performance. It's a fucking career-defining performance. Like, we must not understate that. But
Anthony, what do you have for 4?
I hate this, and you know what I'm about to do, and I don't want to, but
don't do it, man. No,
I don't want to, but you know I got to.
Okay,
Endgame was that good.
I know, I get it.
Tropic Thunder's my number 4.
Fuck, I tried to carry it.
I mean, we carried it from 12.
That's true. I was trying to get it to 3, but
6. I couldn't get that game. Like you said, it just the whole overarching everything was just awesome in that. So
I get it.
oh man, now
No, I actually have to change my board.
sorry.
Malcolm, you haven't had to write almost at all, so it's all good.
Yeah, now you got to think a little bit here. It's coming out. I got to think too. Oh man, where do I want to go with this?
Yeah, it's been.
I mean, shit, man. This is it's hard. I just, in my heart of hearts, I know how I feel, and I really hate that I have to do this because I can't let go of one of these films being higher, and it sucks so bad. But I'm going to Endgame again. It's for me right now. I can't have it any higher than 3.
Anthony, what do you have?
Again, I did not have time to write anything because I am still, my mind is racing for these 3. Crap, man. Why is this so difficult? All these movies are great.
I know.
In my mind was going Zodiac. Just he does do a great job in the movie, but I think it's helped out by the 2 other fantastic actors that are surrounding him pretty much the entire time. I'm gonna go Zodiac as that one for 3.
Which means we've got 3 movies and we got 1 vote for each of them.
Holy shit!
Because the other 2 movies are my personal top 2. So chat, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Endgame, or Zodiac. Which one should be number 3?
Oh, they went for Zodiac. They're killing me, man. I was trying to carry Zodiac to 1. This is fucking terrible.
It's such a good movie.
Oh.
But
Zodiac is in my top 10 films of all time, so it's destroying me that I couldn't get it up there.
Yeah, Zodiac is literally my number 2 Downey movie.
Yeah, see, Malcolm gets it.
And this time, instead of voting for number 2, we're going to vote for number 1 because the other one becomes 2 by default anyway.
That makes sense.
All right.
And I feel like I'm learning a lot about myself doing this.
All right.
Anthony, what do you have for number 1?
Honestly, I didn't even think I was going to do this until we've been discussing these movies at verbatim. But for some reason, the more I've thought about it and the more I've remembered my first time and second time, third time watching it, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is an absolutely incredible movie where Robert Downey really comes back and brings all of the Robert Downey-ness that you get from after his almost complete fall from stardom. I absolutely think he's great in that movie. Endgame's great too. I got nothing. He's a winner.
Yeah, PJ.
You and I, man, same page. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang for the number 1. You can't not do it, man. Like, look at that movie. It's so freaking great. No matter what.
I mean, I read Endgame myself, but Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is going to be number 1.
We are going to love this.
Crush in the comments. Destroyed in the comments.
Actually, there's a couple of them who were saying it already. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Oh, we got a few.
Oh, Belford saying that Zodiac isn't even his top 5 Fincher films. Are you kidding, Belford? I love you to death, dude, but no.
It's already bad.
He's raking me, man. Like, come on. Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, Belford's more annoyed that Hearts and Souls isn't on this list more than anything that.
I know.
But just to recap, our top 12 Robert Downey Jr. movies. At 12, we've got The Judge. At 11, we've got Natural Born Killers. At 10, we've got Weird Science. At 9, we got Sherlock Holmes. At 8, we got Charlie Bartlett. At 7, we got Iron Man. At Chaplin, we got. At 6, we got Chaplin. At 5, we got Iron Man 3. At 4, we got Tropic Thunder. At 3, we got Zodiac. At 2, we got Avengers Endgame. And At 1 we got Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. But yeah, this is it's a great list. And I mean it's rather
a lot of MCU. We did a good job of staying away from it, I think, which is
We
good.
really did, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been, again, like I said up top, like at the beginning of the episode, it'd be very easy to be like, well, he's in 9 of these movies, so just push them all through. But I couldn't do that, man. Like, Downey Jr. is way too talented to be boxed into just that MCU universe. Like, not that I don't love all those movies. I do. I own every single one of them. I like that whole universe. But, like, it's okay to also just be like, nah, man, we have way better performances out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it looks like I know that I've ever do top 12 Finch. I think Billy is going to be one that I'm going to get for that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Billy and I are going to war.
But with that, and just now we've come to the end of this. PJ, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at PJ_Campbell. You can see it. It's on the bottom over here. You can see my name. Of course, you can also find me at the PJ Campbell Network. We do watch-alongs. We're doing all sorts of stuff over there, and I'm going to actually be over there in about half an hour doing our next family game night with Chris Clark, Evan DeGraff, and Kristen Smith of Take 3 is going to be a guest tonight. We're going to be playing Cards Against Humanity, and it's about to be very wild. So get over there. No one's going to get canceled. Nothing totally terrible could happen over at Family Game Night. And, of course, if you're enjoying the quarantine and you need something to watch, check out the movie Trivia Schmodown. I'm the head writer over there with a bunch of really great people, and we love you guys. So thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Cards Against Humanity is great fun. Anthony, where can people find you online?
You can find me on the Facebook and Instagram under my name, and that is the extent of my actual social presence in these links. I do not have anything, and I don't really do anything. At some point, me and the wife might try to put something together, but we just kind of, we're on here to just have fun, talk to people, meet some people, and enjoy this kind of stuff, the debates and all those things. So, yeah, I'm just around, basically.
And you can find, and also you can find me on Take 3 hosting Late Night Take 3 every Fridays. We're actually going to do it Thursday this week, but just because I messed up and I talked to my guests. But anyway, I'm gonna stick to Thursday because I don't want to correct myself. But I'm not going to say who the guest is because Next, there will be a poll up in the Take 3 page for next week's Rankum. And you can also find me over on Full Metal hosting Full Metal Random and Full Metal Classic. And I'm all over the fan leagues. And yeah. Until next week, hashtag Justice for Lion King.
Damn you, Chris